Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Today's going to be a fun one for us, hopefully. It's been a little while since I've worked on the MG project. Was waiting on a few parts to come in, and there's also areas that I'm dreading doing. I have to pull the engine out again to cut the firewall so we can get the engine scooted back so we can go back to doing motor mounts. But of course, I always have to buy new parts to keep the motivation going for myself personally. Got a few things from K24, the rear of the head, the water block off plate, if you will, and shiny parts always keep you motivated on projects, especially when they show up. We got the T4 turbo manifold collector, if you will, for the exhaust system that I have to custom build, and I also have the flange that goes to the head. So flange and T4 collector. I was thinking about going with the divided collector for the turbo, but for right now we're just going with the standard T4 collector and flange just to mock things up. I might change it out for a divided collector, but we'll play that one as it goes on. So first mission of today, let's yank that engine out, cut the firewall, see if we can't get that engine to scoot back. Probably about a good 3 inches is what I'm hoping for. I want to change the camera angles so you can see what I'm talking about, and then we'll get to it. So like you can see here, which I mentioned on another video, the block hits the firewall right here. And what today's mission is going to be is cutting along here to make an L shape, which you'll see in another, once the engine's out rather. The firewall already does that. I don't understand why they had it pushed out here. It makes no sense. It's not even low for them to have like more passenger foot room, if you will. Like it's up here. It's really annoying. So it's about 6 inches deep, and we're gonna go in roughly about 3-ish inches and then over about 3-ish inches. Also that adapter plate I was mentioning, or the water coolant block off, that's what goes on there. So we'll maybe look at that once we get the engine out. But let's start hacking away at the firewall. First things first, let's get that engine out. I got the engine out of the car. It was super easy. That usually takes a little bit longer, but came out, no problems. I'm going to show you the area that today hopefully we'll be cutting into and getting that engine to scoot back. Let's get it. So hopefully I put you in a good location there to see what I'm talking about. So this is the location in question, is this area here. We're hoping to cut out and do what they did basically here at the bottom. This nice little transition. So that transition will come all the way up. So we're going to cut up, top, and down the side. Go double check what's inside the car, make sure I'm not cutting into anything that I shouldn't be, but I think we'll be okay. Let's get some tools. All right, got the angle grinder. Let's see what we can do. Like I said, we're cutting this area out. Got my safety glasses. Let's make some sparks. So that went really well, actually. So I cut this section out, so the motor will be able to go back. We're going to plate that all in with some sheet metal. Also, these holes need to be filled in. That was where the heater box used to live, to heat your feet and everything like that. So we're going to plate all that in. But before we do that, I want to get the motor back in here and see if we gained the 3 inches that I was hoping for. Obviously, this needs to be contoured more to the curvature of the natural body line of the Firewall, which is just purely fab work. So the motor is out. The hole is cut. You can see everything's looking good. The motor mounts that I cut out of Sentra, we'll be able to start playing with these a little bit more now that the motor's going to be able to go back a little further because of the cut that we just did. So let's see if we can't not get it in there. That's the motor mount for the passenger side. Still needs a little bit of work, and the oil relocator, which we won't go over that today. I'm sure you guys don't want to hear me rant and rave about oil relocators again. So let's get it. So I was able to get the engine back in. Let's see if that cut gained us what we were hoping for. Maybe I should take the engine leveler off. So you can see before the engine would have hit here. Now we're back here. So it only looks like we picked up about an inch. Not as much space as I was hoping for, but now it looks like we have to do some cutting on this side. It's now hitting on the driver's side against the transmission and adapter plate. So, also, I haven't really showed much underneath of the car and how all the stuff is lining up down here, but I would just like to show you somewhat. The transmission is actually sitting exactly how I want it to sit, which is awesome. I was a little afraid that this transmission's a little bulkier than the original MG transmission, but it actually is fitting in there really nicely. The drive shaft and rear end still need to figure all that out, but that will come with time. But I'm just really glad that the transmission fits in the tunnel with no problems. Also, if the engine comes back much more, I'm going to need to alter my engine temporary support. But let's see if we can get an angle of what I need to cut now. So right there, you can see the adapter plate transmission hitting the Firewall. So it needs to go back into the right some more. So, and there is the beautiful Sentra motor mount, temporary motor mount mock-up. So we got to figure out some more cutting. Also, I would like to add, it looked like I was struggling a little longer on getting this back in than usual. It's always a fight getting it in. The shifter linkage gets caught up on the cross member. Ultimately, I think we're not going to have that shift linkage because, like I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, I'm shooting to have the shifter come out of the service plate of the top of the transmission. So really that linkage right now is fighting me and making it harder to put the engine in. So I should just remove it, but it is what it is for right now. It's going to stay until I figure out the shifting location or shifter location. So I don't think I'm going to pull it back out again today, but I definitely need to pull the engine out, cut the driver's side now to get the engine back further. So that's it for today's progress of the MG. We got the Firewall cut, got to do a little bit more fab work on it to get this motor back a little further so we can get it held up on the frame rails by the motor mounts and we don't have to have our support bar going across anymore. Sorry it's been a while since our last video. Hopefully I'll start pumping out a little bit more regularly. Work's picked up for me a little bit, unfortunately, so I'm not able to do content as frequently. Also, thank you for all the comments you guys have been leaving, advice, tips, things like that. I read every comment that comes in. I'm trying to improve the videos. I've never done this before, so please be patient with me. The content should get a little bit better, a little more exciting. Once this car becomes a roller and it runs and we start doing race events, I think it will definitely start picking up speed. If you like what you've seen so far, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe so you get notified when I do more videos, and thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.